Welcome to the FastNow app. I'm quickly going to show you all the core pages of the application and some of the stuff that you absolutely need to know before you start on your weight loss journey. So, we are currently on the My Fast screen, and for most people, this is likely to be the place where you will use the application for the very first time. And I'm going to quickly switch over to the extended tab. The extended tab is for extended fasts, meaning 24-hour plus. So, for example, today I did a 44-hour fast. And in order to start, you just simply click on start and you select a duration. You can also start in the past, which is a very practical and important option. If you've started the night before but didn't start logging it, you can still come back and add it to the system without losing any of that progress. Let's start the extended fast right away just for fun. You can see that we've started 6 hours ago. We are currently in the extended fast, and at the bottom you have hourly notification on what's likely happening in your body right now. This can be quite encouraging and helpful. Of course, for those people who like to do intermittent fasting, this functionality is available here as well. You can cycle from fasting windows into eating windows endlessly until you stop. The second tab worth talking about is, of course, the walking tab. And this is a feature that seems to be very simple at first, but actually it's quite important. The Probably the most important thing about it is that it seamlessly integrates into the rest of the weight loss journey, meaning that even if you get onto the challenge page where we have a 90-day challenge currently ongoing, you will see that under calories out there is walking and activity positions that you directly feed into from your walking application here. So it's all interconnected, so it's great. When you start to walk for, let's say, 60 minutes a day, you simply hit the start button, you start walking. You have a little bit of statistics here as well. Most of them are calculated, so of course, these are not actual steps, but these are calculated. The system mostly relies on your ability to simply record time that you're walking in an honest way. Uh, Most people aim for 90 minutes a day in the Fast Now program. You can change it however you like, though. Let me change mine to 90 because that's what I'm aiming at on a daily basis. And you will have some statistics here at the bottom on how good you are at achieving those 90 minutes a day on a weekly basis. Let's move on to the most important page here, and this is the food tracking, calorie tracking page. Here you have the ability to log in foods with AI voice, with AI text, and manually. The manual option has some of the most basic foods already available for you. Let's just, check out chicken breast. You can just simply add it. It's very simple. And then you hit the check mark button to mark a food as eaten. If you don't mark it as eaten, it will not be added to the statistics and it will not be counted for the day. So it will just be part of a list. You have multiple options here. You can add something to a template, for example. And then you can put together a template that you can apply every morning with this option here. That means every morning you have a selection of foods waiting for you to simply mark as eaten. So if you're eating the same foods every day, this is a very convenient feature. Now, for those people who decide to sponsor the app, they will have access to voice input. And this will work something like this: chicken breast, 100 grams. And it will automatically add the food item to the list. First, it will tell you that it did recognize what you've just said. And you can do the same thing with the text functionality. You see, this works actually pretty well. Now, there is also a functionality to add multiple items and package them as a meal, such as, for example, something like this: chicken breast 300 grams and two cucumbers large. Oh, you see, maybe it didn't misunderstand. Let's see, the two cucumbers were just added at the end there. It should add both of the items now into the meal container, and then you can save it as a meal. So if you're cooking something and you have multiple ingredients, this could be an option for you to keep them together. You can, of course, always open up the section and view them. This is just quickly in a nutshell. Of course, at the bottom, you have a macro tracking feature, which is fairly important for people who actually want to know how much protein they're currently intaking with the food selection that they have. Remember, if you're using the AI app, you will automatically get all of the data for the fat, protein, and carb values added by the AI. Otherwise, you will have to look them up manually if they are not in the standard database. So this is the big advantage of sponsoring the app other than supporting the project. So I mean, there are a few smaller items here and there that we can talk about, but I want to briefly get through all of the most important pages first. So we've been on the challenge page before. So this is the page, and you can see that we already have a challenge ongoing. Let me quickly deactivate it. So when you deactivate a challenge, you have 24 hours to reactivate it. Otherwise, it will be ended. But you can also start the challenge at any point in time. Here, you can set up your target weight, the number of days that the challenge is ongoing. And of course, you will immediately see the requirements per day on what kind of deficit you need to have in order to achieve your goal. And if this makes sense for you, you can commit to it and start the challenge. But I'll just quickly reactivate the existing one. And as you can see, you will have a little bit of advice and intelligence. And the most exciting part is that you constantly have a projection, a weight projection for every date until the very last day of the challenge. So you have a clear path to success here, and you have clear metrics that you need to achieve in the target column. So for example, in this setup, the target calorie intake is just under 1500 calories, as you can see in the top right corner. Currently, I have a 660 calorie intake, which is significantly less than the target, which is great if you want to lose weight. Now, you can see also the individual carbs, protein, and fat distributions here. And calories out is currently just about 3000 calories. This is because we did a lot of walking today. So the total deficit for the day is 2341 calories, which is very, very good. This is significantly more than the 850 that we need to achieve our goal in 90 days. And this is equivalent to roughly 300 grams of fat. So since I was fasting for the most of the day, and you can see that from the blue drop sign on the day 2 label, that means that I haven't been actually eating for most of the day. So let me see. The goals page is a place where you can set up your objectives. We have a certain set of common objectives that people like to think about when they are starting with a serious 90-day challenge. But you can, of course, create your own goal by simply clicking a plus button. You can use, if you're a sponsor, you can use the AI to quickly speak your goals and add a picture. And I like to use the event-based goals, where you have a particular event on the way to your main objective in 90 days, and you want to specifically achieve something, let's say halfway through for an event. You can log it in here. It reminds you of why you're actually doing all of this. Okay, I mean, this is a brief overview of the app. There are, of course, a few nuances that you may want to check out once you download the app for free, such as, for example, the today's deficit panel. Here you have some most important statistics for what's currently happening in your journey. So, for example, here we can see if you would continue at this pace like we did today, which was incredible because we're mostly fasting for the whole day. In a 30-day projection, you would lose 9 kilograms. Now, this is very aggressive, and nobody can actually do this without starving themselves. But if you would fast this aggressively, where you literally just consume just over 600 calories per day, you could achieve something like this in theory. But yeah, once again, this is all hypothetically speaking. As soon as you get into a more normal eating habit after the fasting, these numbers quickly become much more regular and much less aggressive. But this is just a great window to quickly see the basic calculations of calories in and calories out and what this represents in terms of um, deficit for the day. Well, I think this is it. We can, of course, walk through things like the intermittent fast and see how that works briefly. We can check out some of the recent memories functionalities, which is an experimental feature. But for the most part, we have covered all the key areas that you need to know to start your free trial. Right now, we have a 3-day free trial, so you get to use also the sponsor features for free. Then you will be downgraded to a regular free app. The free app is fully functional. Like, you don't need to become a sponsor if you don't want to. But to be honest, I would highly recommend to pay the $9 a month sponsorship fee to get the uh, AI input options, because they're just very convenient if you have to log food daily. And voice is just an amazing way of doing that. There are many apps that have introduced photo inputs, and I've experimented with the photo inputs as well. And we do have that functionality, but I've decided to not to include it into the app because it's too playful. It's very unreliable. It's nice to have in an app to experiment as a developer, but it's not really something that you would use on a daily basis when convenience and effectiveness matters more than being playful. So it's not in here for now. Should the technology develop further, we might just integrate it for sponsors as an experimental feature. You always have the settings page where you can also, for example, just shift to a light mode if you prefer that, or if the lighting conditions are just better for a light mode overview. You have multiple languages you can try. We've been translating them into multiple languages already. I would be curious to get some feedback on how good the quality of the translations actually is at this point. You have some advanced settings for the sponsors, and you can also upgrade your account at any point in time right here. If you have any feedback for the app, feel free to use the feedback section. I think this is it. I think this is a thorough presentation. Hopefully this was useful, guys. I see you in the next video, and have a good day.